Coming to you live from downtown Detroit, this is Benzinga's PreMarket Prep with your host, Joel Elonin.
This is a volatile puppy here, isn't it?
And Dennis Dick.
I'm bidding a penny. I will buy the stock for a penny.
With everything you need to start your trading day. Oh man, good morning, everybody. Happy Thursday. Welcome to PreMarket Prep. Spencer Israel, Joel Elonin, Dennis Dick. Do me a solid before we get started. Smash that like button, please. Hit it with your elbow or your fist or your foot, whatever. I don't care. Your little pinky, I don't care what you use. You just hit it and then we're done. And I want to ask you to do it again, but I probably will. Big show today. We're going to talk earnings. We got tech earnings. We got retail earnings. We're going to talk PENN. We're going to have ourselves, I think, a good old-fashioned debate in PENN. At the top of the show, we'll talk cannabis stocks with our guest, Alan Brochstein, the 420 investor and founder of New Cannabis Ventures at 8:35. Excited for that. A lot to get to. Joel, good morning. How are we doing this morning?
We're doing well, Spencer. We're only down 1 point, 44.92. We made that all-time closing high yesterday.
I'm looking at GNOG.
Oh, okay.
There we go.
There we go.
That's better.
There we go. All-time high. Little dip overnight. Caught a bid at the intraday low from yesterday. So still parameters, tight range over the last couple of days, but still moving higher. Crude down 77 cents to 67.59. Big 3-day run ended, maybe ending today. Gold in the red by $1.70 at 17.89.30. Silver in the red by 8.5 cents at 23.69. Bitcoin repelling off 50K psychological level, down $2,000 at 56,700. And Ethereum going the same way. That's down $134 at 3,090. Triple D tight ranges yesterday. A little more volatility in the after hours. What would you like to do? Would you like to argue or would you like to talk?
I always like arguing. What do you want to argue about? Tell us your new purchase yesterday, because I already know what you want to argue about.
It's a small purchase. I said if PENN was going through 74, I was going to take it for a trade.
Where'd you get it? Right through 74?
Yeah.
That's good. That's good buy.
Yep.
What are you doing with that? That's a big
I
move.
don't know. I saw you. You've totally talked me out of it. I hope,
I
hope it doesn't go to 50 today. I hope it doesn't go to 50 today.
No, I'm still in PENN, but I'm just looking at this move and I'm like, that is a big move. And looking at it. So here's the deal with PENN, at least from my perspective. And when I bought this back, not even when I played it a few times. I've been in and out of PENN a few times on swing trades. I kind of, linked it more with DraftKings. And you know what? The traditional casino operations, the physical buildings, the physical operations are simply too big for it to be grouped more with DraftKings. If you look at the charts, PENN Gaming is moving more with the traditional casinos. Because look at what in the last 4 days, we've had the explosion from 65 to 80. But look at Las Vegas Sands.
Okay.
Look at MGM. Look at Wynn Resorts in the last 4 days. And yes, DKNG has exploded as well. But if you look, there's been a separation here now for a while. And obviously DKNG is a more pure play on the online sports betting play. PENN has those operations as well. And sure, with their new, takeover the score, that helps too. But they still have the traditional casino operations, which is why it tends to move more still as a traditional casino. Last year, it wasn't the case. The story of the sports betting was driving it and it was moving along with DKNG, but its relationship has kind of changed to a certain extent. It's now moving more with the traditional casinos. So when you're buying PENN, you're getting some exposure to sports betting, but you're not getting a pure play like DraftKings. That's all I was going to say.
I mean, they look pretty similar on this chart to me. I see
DraftKings and PENN. Where are you looking? Okay, you're bringing them up there.
I mean, they're all up here. So if recent,
all it's betting plays, they're all going to have some relationships. But yeah, 35% versus 3% there for PENN. You can see PENN stuck in the middle. So this is interesting. Leave it there. DraftKings up 35. Is this last 3 months or whatever you're
It's
looking at?
going back to like mid-May.
Okay, 4 months. But it's interesting. This tells the story. We've had the reopening trade that has hammered Las Vegas Sands. Obviously, I got hammered on that too. Hit MGM. And then you have DraftKings that, hasn't been hammered as much because they have the online sports betting, and it's actually up. So the reopening trade has not hit this for the simple reason that they don't have the physical operations. Penn is stuck in the middle because they're a little bit of both. So this is kind of the tell, Joel. So it's a little bit DraftKings, a little bit win in Las Vegas Sands. If you want the pure play on sports betting, it's DKNG or now GNOG. If you want a hybrid play, I guess you want Penn. And if you want, just traditional casino operator, you got Las Vegas Sands and Win. Are they going to eventually get into the sports betting online? Maybe. They already have sports
They're
betting.
already there. They're already
But are they online like DraftKings? No. Now, DraftKings also gets you NFT exposure too because they're doing the NFTs now too, correct? Am I correct with that? I thought I saw DraftKings like playing in that field.
That was like a month ago.
Yeah, so they're into that too. So all I'm saying is if you want a pure play on all that stuff, DraftKings is the stock. Now, the valuation may be not as attractive. You get PENN Gaming, you get Portnoy. Portnoy, obviously, is the big spokesman for PENN Gaming, really, obviously with Barstool Sports. So you get that exposure too. But you can kind of see what's happened here. Penn's a little bit traditional casino. It's a little bit online sports betting. So, Joel, tell me now about technicals back to PENN. I'm still long a portion of my PENN. We know I sold a chunk of it on the way down because I didn't like the technicals, but I kept a little chunk. Give me the thoughts. Give me the thought process here.
The thought process is not only me, but a lot of people have lost a lot of money, left a lot of money on the table by saying something's overbought or oversold. Okay. So it was a pure technical play. And I've been thinking about this 74 level for like 2 or 3 weeks. And I said, if it goes through 74, I'm going to pick it up.
As a good buy.
Yeah, as a buy. It's just like a short term.
This was a trade, or was this a long term
trade?
investment?
It's not long term.
Okay, so you're playing it for a trade.
Yeah, I'm paying it for a trade, and we'll see how far the momentum.
I think there's room to 85, but I think it's now starting to skew. This is a big move, and all I'm concerned about is, and why I'd be looking more at lightening up my position. I might look to lighten it up if it gets to that, if it gets up a little bit more from here, because 65 to 70 to 75 to 80, 15 points in 3 days. You literally got back. I bought this back in June at like $77. I know it went to, or maybe it was May, and it went to like 85, and I actually did sell some, but I kept a piece, and I wish I wouldn't have kept the piece because obviously it's continued to come down since then. But you just look, and everybody who bought this in the last 3 months is underwater until the last 3 days. And now everybody got their money back. So you got a lot of people thinking, wow, nice move, but holy mackerel, I was down a lot of money in this, and I got it all back all of a sudden. Same reason I lightened up my Las Vegas Sands yesterday. I actually did lighten up my LVS position, taking, a pretty good hit on it because I think I bought it around $54. And, here you are, 3 days, 36 to 44. That's, getting almost half my losses back in 3-4 days. And in PENN Gaming, in that case, getting all of my losses back. So loss aversion, behavioral finance, says that, there's overhead supply, not only in Penn, but in Las Vegas Sands here as well. I kind of think the LVS has room to 45, but I thought, I thought you're getting close, where you might start to stall out. PENN Gaming blew through the 74. The 75 resistance was huge, Joel. So you identified that very well. Blew through that like nothing and straight to 80. I look at that 85 and I see the Rock of Gibraltar. If it gets anywhere near that today, I'd be taking my swing trading profits on that.
85. If it's up $5 today,
it's up another $5.
Yeah,
it's a good move. It's a good move. I still like the PENN Gaming story. It's just a big move really fast. And you know what? I love selling the rip. When you start seeing stocks ripping 25% in 3 days, and that's exactly what PENN Gaming just did. $15 on a $65 stock. So yeah, you just ripped 25% in 4 days. That's a rip. That's a rip.
And I mean, also, you're right. I mean, I was looking at the DKNG, and you pointed out, but I also look at this, and I know that 142 was just kind of, that was kind of a pie in the sky there, right? And then got beat up at 61. But I mean, always in these markets, you see counter moves, right? And if you want to say that Penn is just in a permanent long-term downtrend, you still get bounces, right? You still get 50% retracements, and this hadn't even sniffed at it. Now, do I think I'll be long gone if it ever gets near triple digits? But it was just a momentum thing. It wasn't.
It's a good call. I mean, you
Technical.
got to identify when you're going in. Are you going in for a trade? Are you going in for
Yeah.
a long-term investment? And then what's your risk and what's your reward? I mean, if you're looking at breaking out through the 75, you're giving yourself a buck or two. We just got 5 points. So, you're blowing away the 2-to-1. You're approaching 3-to-1 risk reward there. So, which is nice. And I always set it up that way. I would say this is not in a downtrend at all long-term. If you look at that bottom chart, and people, do you like the 4-chart setup? Because sometimes it confuses me. And we went to this like 6 months ago, and we used to just show one chart, and then we moved to this 4-chart setup. If you like the 1-chart set, or if you like the 4-chart setup, push a 1 in the chat. If you like the 4-chart setup, if you'd like us to go back to 1 chart, put a 2. 4-chart setup.
They can put whatever they want. I'm not going back to 1 chart. What chart am I going to show? The daily?
No, you bounce around. You have to bounce more. You have
It's
to
a
look,
pain in
because
the
right now,
ass.
I'll tell you, I personally do not like the 4-chart setup. So it's a lot of people do, though. A lot of people do.
But
So
you don't like
good.
charts.
What?
Wait, what was the prompt? It was 1 if you liked it, 4.
Yeah, they like it. They appear to like it. A lot of people are putting 4 for 4-chart setup too, which might be better. So people do like the 4-chart setup. So we'll stick with it.
Well, you know why?
I personally don't like it because I get confused and I don't know where to look. But I'm not a big technical guy, so I don't want 1,000 charts thrown at me.
Right.
So that's fine. Chat likes it. That's cool. Okay, so looking at the bottom right chart, that stock is not in a downtrend. PENN Gaming is not in a downtrend at all. So I would argue that maybe the 65 is going to be a long-term bottom for the stock. So maybe, this is one that, that I'm probably going to screw up, sell it, and then it'll pull back in a little bit. So I'll get that timing right. And then I won't rebuy it. And then it'll be $100 stock and be like, why did I sell that? I do that all the time. I'm very wishy-washy on this. One, it's a half-size position for me because I sold some as it was starting to break down because I was scared of the breakdown. But 2 is, I kind of like the story. I kind of like, the thought of, I want a little bit of a reopening portfolio too. I have the barbell approach, so it kind of fits in there. But I look at a 25% move in 4 days, and I'm like, holy, I'm probably going to get this cheaper in a week. So I don't know. I'm torn on it.
And Penn owns horse racing tracks, so it has a little bit of sentimental value to me too. They're big into the horse racing. Not too many of those left, but that's it. Yeah, we thoroughly dissected.
Right now, we're both in Penn, so we're both in it still. I'm just looking at this big move really fast and thinking about lightening up. So interesting that you bought it. So. Okay, let's go, Joel. Next stock, Spencer Israel. We had a ton of earnings here.
Let's do some earnings.
I mean, lots of tech last night. We got a few interesting ones here this morning as well. Some retail. Where do you want to go?
Yeah, let's start with tech. They're basically all trading higher, with the exception of Autodesk, is kind of your disaster. Or maybe that's a strong one, but your outlier this morning, ADSK.
That's pretty disastrous.
Yeah, okay. We'll start with ADSK only because it is the outlier. Again, their earnings beat, their sales beat, their guidance was in line, which
they don't like inline guidance.
We don't like inline guidance. It's not good enough anymore.
Not for a tech stock.
Not for a tech. Yeah. So Q3, they only gave Q3 guidance, and it was in line with the estimates. They did not come in, a buck over estimates or anything like that we're used to seeing with some of these companies. So ADSK, that's why that's trading down, and then we'll cover the rest of tech after that.
I'm going to give you one number, and it's a long ways away from here, but we've had this 300 level was massive resistance back in April, back in July, and we finally took it out in August, and we haven't looked back. Now all of a sudden you lose 2/3 of this breakout, from 300 to 342. Could you come all the way down to retest that 300? You maybe, but I don't know if it can do that. But if it went down to 300, I would probably be a buyer there. So at 317, kind of in the middle of nowhere. I'm not going to make a call here at 317, but saying if it came down to 300, I think you'd bounce at 300. We've seen stocks do wild things on earnings, so throwing out a 301 order. And always when I buy 300, I usually put it above the number because, there's usually other people that are just 300. So I usually go 350 or 301 if I want to really get it. I might look at buying the dip on this at 301 if it was to get down there. I don't think you're getting there today, though.
16 points away. I mean, sometimes you look at this pre-market chart and you say, you know, there's a buyer in here. It's gonna bounce, and you have a pre-market low at 314.68 or 314.38. Feels kind of heavy. I mean, I would use that for continuation on the downside, and then you got some daily lows to contend with. One at 312.68. But it's just wide open. I mean, between 300 and 320. I mean, I guess there was a little stopping at 310. I'll just say keep an eye on the pre-market low. As long as you take out the pre-market low, just keep heading towards 300. I don't know when it's going to pop or where it's going to pop from, but I'm not going to make the same mistake I did in saying Nordstrom yesterday. Like, hey,
we're both wrong on that.
Yeah, I didn't do anything at 32 because it just came down to 32 and said I'm not bouncing.
Yeah.
So.
And now it's taking out even further support here at 30.
Can you believe that?
It's
Holy
amazing.
Man.
The victim of obviously reporting second, but and they're going to find whatever fundamental reason on the media. But it's amazing because Macy's blows it away. They reinstate the dividend. They do a buyback, and the Nordstrom earnings were good. They were fine, but the bar was just set simply too high. So now you start to look, does it bounce even at 30? I don't know. I didn't do anything on Nordstrom yesterday either. It literally had no bounce at all. I thought it might bounce at the 32 level too. Obviously closed below that, 31.14. Now it's down another buck here, taking out all the major support. Does it bounce at 30? Maybe, but it's hard to catch these falling knives. It's a tough trade. And that's the same thing, if Autodesk was come down there, it can be an expensive lesson trying to catch a falling knife. A lot of times you're better to go with the momentum.
Yeah, Macy's now back above pre-pandemic levels. Two highs in the same area, so we'll keep an eye on this: 23.69, 23.76. So two highs and two closes in the same area. So if Macy's wants to continue this, amazing run, I think you stay bid here at 23.53 or 23.50 area. Then you sneak into the 24 handle. But pair of highs, I see. Mitch was thinking it might crack today, but at least you got an area to lean on. Two highs in the same area, but nice breakout over that 22. What was that, a couple days ago? So Macy's is back.
Since we're on retail, let's stick with retail. Williams-Sonoma is your big winner this morning on the retail front. They had earnings, and they announced a buyback, and they're raising their dividend from 59 cents a share to 71 cents a share. And that was enough to juice this stock overnight. On the other hand, you get a stock like Burlington and Dollar Tree, which are both trading down after their reports. But Williams-Sonoma is your winner so far today.
This kind of company is just winning in this environment. It's the mindset. We've talked about the mindset of the consumer coming out of lockdowns from last year, coming out of COVID, not going on as many vacations. People are spending money. They're spending money on their house. They're spending money on furniture. And Williams-Sonoma is the beneficiary of that. It's like you go into that store and people think stuff's expensive, but they're like, you know what? YOLO. You want that expensive couch, like Restoration Hardware style. You want, Williams-Sonoma stuff, which, a lot of the stuff is expensive as well in that store. People are buying it. The consumer mindset has at least changed in the short run, and that benefits a company like WSM. Obviously, they got a lot of different stuff. I know that the cookware, they have a lot of different things in there, but I mean, gourmet, like, some of the stuff that they sell in there
is crazy.
Is expensive as hell. And you know what? People are like, hey, I want a nice kitchen. I'm spending more time in my house. I want nice stuff in my kitchen. You know what? Williams-Sonoma sells a hell of a lot of nice stuff in their kitchen. They sell a hell of a lot of nice appliances. And I think the mindset benefits that. So this kind of makes sense that this company would blow it away.
What song and band do you think of when you say Williams-Sonoma?
I don't think of a song or a band.
Me neither. Joel,
come on.
Welcome back to the 1920s. What's up?
I think of there's a sports blog that I used to read, and every year he would make fun of the holiday catalog. But I don't.
Oh, come on. Someone in the chat. 19. There we go. Someone got it.
What was it?
The Ramones?
My Sharona?
Yeah.
All right.
Williams-Sonoma, My Sharona.
By the
It's a good
neck.
song. I would not have thought
By
of
the
that.
neck. By
It's a
the
good
neck.
song.
Whew, boy, oh
Dun,
boy.
dun, dun.
Pre-market
My
high
Sharona.
199. Oh, Dennis, you gonna sing?
Nah. I have the
199.
worst singing voice ever.
All I can say, folks, is the all-time high that was made a few months ago was at 194.69. That's what you're trading right now. So you could call it a breakout, whatever you want. I would just say 194.69 up to that pre-market high. I mean, potential resistance. Sure, you can bust above 200, but man, it's up. I don't know what kind of volume on it's on, but if you have a juicy target up there at like 195, 200, you're getting a shot at it. Also, there could be one of these days. I don't know what's going to happen, but like maybe you never even see 190 in the regular session. Someone comes in and like 195. I wanted to sell it at 185. I'm going to whack this with 10,000 shares. If anybody came in with any kind of piece on that, well, 36,500 come in. But let's see if we can take out the pre-market high.
You're close to the all-time high too here.
It's right
This
there.
stock is close enough to all-time highs that I'd be scared to fade it. You got the level. Don't let it get away from you because these things will be thin on the open. This could be 200 in a heartbeat on you.
Yep.
So you got to be careful with this one. Again, I'm going to just reiterate, I believe the consumer mindset has temporarily changed to not be afraid to spend money. Williams-Sonoma, expensive stuff in there. People spend money in there. Things are going right there right now.
Here's a question I have with regards to Williams-Sonoma or retail in general is how many people, this would be interesting, how many people are buying their Christmas presents now? Because they know that the supply chains are just all kinds of messed up. And
we're building the house and we bought everything. We bought our appliances literally a year in advance. We bought all of our appliances for our house that's not even supposed to be done until next summer. Because you know what? The supply chain is all messed up. And I mean, we're going to get into that in a minute, even with Smucker. But I mean, this is an issue across the board. And I don't know, I think, some sales might get pulled forward. You might have a point.
Rob Perez is, Chris Tucker is, Dino, I don't know if
a lot of people are not. I always wait till the 24th. But I only have to buy for my wife because she buys for everyone else for me. So
no, but in all seriousness, like in 4 months, or no, in 5 months, or 6 months, are we going to hear all these companies say, "Well, it turns out that a lot of our holiday selling was pulled forward," right? Whoops. Right, maybe disappointing holiday numbers. I don't know. I'm just
Spencer going with the disappointing holiday sales in August.
I'm just hypothesizing.
Jesus Murphy, we got Labor Day, we got Thanksgiving, we got Columbus. You already talked. I tell you right now, my Christmas shopping for the year is already done.
That's exactly what OP just said. He bought
pretty much for my life. It's done. Lisa, Hanukkah presents, I might have to buy a few, but just go online. But Dennis, how do you know those appliances are going to be like the right fit for like your kitchen and everything?
Huh? Oh, the appliances?
Yeah.
We got it's supposed to be all built to like the kitchen's been designed. So if they build it wrong, then it's not going to fit. But the kitchen is already fully designed. Like this whole entire house, every little aspect of it, my wife's been working on it for years, is fully designed.
Okay.
So if for whatever reason, they build it wrong, not to the specs, then it's not going to fit. But obviously, we don't think that's going to be the case.
Okay.
We hope they're all going to fit. But yeah, we literally bought every single appliance a year out just because we know some stuff can take a long time to get.
Okay. That's
all right. Just a thought. Let's move on to Salesforce here. They're out last night. They see, unlike Autodesk, who merely came in line with their guidance, Salesforce raised their guidance. That's what you want to see from a tech company.
All right.
Benioff going to come in and brag about his company again?
Doesn't he bother you, though? I know he comes on Mad Money, and yes, Salesforce is a great company, but doesn't he something about him that is just bragging how his company is the best company ever? It's and then Kramer goes with them because they're buddies and they're on Mad Money, and it's just a complete brag fest about how awesome his company is. I mean, every company, I guess you're CEO, you're supposed to brag about your company, but I feel like just the way he does it is just so annoying. I get so annoyed by Benioff. Anyways, That's just my rant on Benioff. I don't know if anybody else has
That's
the same, but
funny because
you seem to have the same opinion though, Joel. And I don't know if we've ever even talked about that.
I don't think we ever have.
But
we
Kramer's
rarely
on there, and he loves having Benioff, and he comes on Mad Money every couple of months. And I'm sure he's a really good guy, but holy, he comes off as a braggart.
You got a spike to 271. That was off the headline number. And if you were looking at your monthlies, that would be your bottom right chart, Dennis. You would see there were two monthly highs between 270 and 271. Rock solid resistance to me. Yeah, you're at 268 right now, 267.72. Can you take that out? For sure. Why not? But it's a good level, not on a short term, not a daily or weekly, but it's a good level on a monthly basis. As far as trying to buy this thing, man, I mean, longer term, I would see if it could sneak down to the old triple top it had at 262. That's a ways away. So 262 longer term on the downside. That 271, yeah, they could press through there and make a run at an all-time high, but two monthly highs in the same area to me, little bit of a warning signal.
I'm surprised Benioff is actually still in charge because a lot of the guys from his he's been CEO for
Long time.
for 22 years, right? A lot of those guys from back then are stepping down. You know, Bezos and so I don't know. Surprised to see he's still.
They should have bought Twitter when I wanted to buy Twitter. Or when I wanted to buy the company. Remember that? They were kicking around.
There was a couple people sniffing around on Twitter. Disney was sniffing around on Twitter. Salesforce was sniffing around on Twitter.
When it's back at like $20.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Sean,
you still got your Twitter? Joel bought Twitter.
I do. 17. Yeah. I just bought.
You're in from $17.
Yep.
Wow.
Yep.
Wow.
I want to
That's a
take
good
it
buy.
private. Sean and I said this.
Oh yeah, you guys were going to try to take it private. Does Sean still have his?
I'm not sure. I'm not sure.
We were only trader. He's probably out.
We were only like a couple billion short. I mean, you know, no big deal.
Yeah, but want to take it private.
Where is Twitter?
We just wanted the bird.
It's 63.
Shh, be quiet about the bird. 65 resistance, hit off earnings. It's trying to come back. But that and PENN, which one? No, PENN's that's trying to come back too. These just got a little rotation out of these. Let's forget about these stocks for a little bit. Except for Snap, right? Snap has been on a roll. Snapchat.
PENN's
right?
got slammed, which is trying to show some life. Yeah, Snap's held up. Snap actually gapped up and set the bar high for everybody else. They screwed Pinterest. Again, it's about these paired stocks. There's two or three that are all paired together. Snap, Twitter, PENN's. One blows it away. It's like, we better blow it away now. And they don't blow it away. You get Nordstrom'd. That's now a verb.
Spoos go green here, are trying to go green, 43.93.
By the dip, man. You cannot stop it. We had a 0.2% dip overnight. 0.2%. People are all over that. They're like, this is the dip. This is the opportunity. I got to get in. And you know what? They're probably right.
Maybe we're just waiting until tomorrow.
The big day tomorrow, man. Jackson Hole.
Powell?
Yeah, Jackson Hole.
Transitory?
No, not no. We're not. We're off that now.
Oh, what are we on to?
We're on to tapering.
Oh yeah, tapering. I forgot.
Yeah,
transitory
tapering.
right.
It's all transitory. He'll say it. We're gonna do some tapering, but it's just transitory.
All right. So it's 8:30. We are getting our latest GDP revision from the prior quarter.
S&Ps are moving off of this.
Wow.
Also, we're getting jobless claims
so fast. It's in a fast market, Joel.
Okay.
I cannot believe the speed in which the SPY is trading. It's actually traded 0 shares in the last 30 seconds. Actually, and I don't know about the contracts because I don't pay for E-mini quotes, but I can tell you SPY has not traded 1 share in the last 33 seconds. Oh, we just got an odd lot just traded.
Get in there, Dennis. Get in there.
We had an odd lot of 50 shares.
Show them who's boss. Trade.
Oh, there goes another 1 share. Not 101. Oh, there's 100 shares.
You know why?
Okay, we're moving a little bit now.
You know
there
what?
we go. They just got the number.
Well, it looked like
Big movement.
yeah,
they're
looked
glued
like
to pre-market prep. They can't make any moves without this. They got to listen to the show. All the major trading desks around the world, they're glued to pre-market prep. So
what are they going to say next?
Yes.
What are the boys going to say next? I don't even know what I'm going to say next half the time. So
yeah. All right. So a few people are asking about Ride, guys, and Marcus. All I can say is when Marcus is coming back on, I will tell you. I will not keep it a secret. I will tell you.
It's not like a long-term vacation here.
Well, what happened was he went on like a road trip, like a month-long road trip around.
Holy.
But he's back now.
Living the dream.
Yeah, he's back now. But
he's back in Ride today too.
We've been emailing. When I get him back on, I will tell you. That's all there is to it.
No down. Like him and Anne Marie are the two calming voices in this market. You know, where you get Anne Marie and you're like, okay, this day just got better because the calming voice, and Marcus too. Marcus is
Ride. Marcus is having a good morning here because Ride has a new CEO.
Do we think he's still in? We think he's still in.
Yeah, we think he's still in.
We don't know though for sure.
And they've got a new CEO they're announcing this morning. Daniel Ninivaggi is their CEO. And this guy who used to be at Icon Enterprises. He's been
Ninivaggi.
Yeah, it said on LinkedIn he's from Metro Detroit.
Really?
Yeah.
How do you spell that?
Ninivaggi.
Don't know.
Okay.
Nina
everybody in Detroit, Joel. I thought you knew every single person in the D.
I think Marcus started his own show because he was sick of talking about Ride with us. So
maybe
that's why he's not coming on. Ride's getting the pop.
That shirt he had though, the F blank 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 Ride. That was one of the funniest moments I think we've had on this show.
667 pre-market high. Boom, boom. Getting a move. Let's see if we can hold these gains. I mean, once again, is a guy going to turn around the company today? I don't know, but it's a good sign. 678 was a high back on July 28th, and see if you can sneak into the 7 handle. But that's about all I can give you.
Bag holder central. There's all kinds of overhead supply.
But this is the first time there's been
rallies in Ride that have been sold have been correct because the stock was just making new all-time lows 4 days ago. So trend is not your friend if you're long.
I agree.
I don't know where it tops out today here. Maybe it goes higher, maybe it doesn't. But I'll tell you, if it ever got near 8, there'll be massive resistance at 8. So your 650, I don't think it's going to 8, but
it's had the first time
I was in it, I would use every rally to lighten up.
First time it's had good news in a long time. I will say that. You want to sneak another earnings stock in here before we bring in Alan?
Sure. Let's just sneak Snowflake in. Sticking with the tech theme. Earnings out last night. They were good. EPS beat, sales beat, guidance. Actually, guidance Q3 sales guidance light, and fiscal year sales guidance was also light. What else did they say here? They said no, that's just like super detailed ticky-tack stuff. So
300. Did we go through 300?
Yeah, we did a couple times.
That's the level where you can see it stalling out at. That'll be the psychological level. If I looked at the open interest, I'd imagine you got some contracts at 300. That comes into play, especially, when you're looking, at a weekly expiration here. I'd imagine SNOW is going to have some resistance at 300.
So, your 3-day low 67.30, your pre-market low 68, and they just bought it off that, making a new all-time high. So I'll give you the pre-market high at 302. So $4 back off, 298 to 302. Sell range for me, coming back on the downside, 292. That splits the two highs, the all-time highs, 91.77 and 92.20. So 292 to 302. I can be extremely confident that will not be the range in this thing. This thing moves all over the place. And was this a downgrade on Friday that just got it just absolutely killed? Because I was asking about that. It went from 79.45 to 47.88.
It was not a downgrade per se. It was
What was it?
It was negative commentary from a firm, Cleveland Research. They said that they wrote that Salesforce Snowflake's sales cycle is elongating and the growth is slowing, is what they said. up. So, and that
elongating sales growth.
elongating sales cycle, slowing
Oh.
sales growth.
Yes, that's worth knocking $40 off the stock. I mean, holy mackerel. But
Yeah.
there we are. Trading.
Buy the dip wins again.
Yeah, you could have got your head ripped off on that one, buying the dip.
Let's talk cannabis. It's been a while since we've had Alan Brochstein on the show. He is, of course, 420 investor, founding partner of New Cannabis Ventures. Alan, good morning.
Hey, guys. It's great to be back.
Great to talk to you. It's been far too long. Actually, how long has it been? Let's find out.
You can do the old calendar check there.
I'm guessing April 20th or something like that.
June.
I was going to say, we've had him on since then.
June 16th. That was the last time we spoke to you, Alan. What's been new?
You know, it's really a lot more of the same. The prices are stuck in a consolidation now for a little bit over 6 months. The fundamentals continue to look just better and better. There's been confusion, I think, from investors in terms of federal legalization and the prospects for it. Early in the year, people got all excited. And I think traders don't really understand that federal legalization is complex and potentially dangerous. And so Chuck Schumer was supposed to introduce some legislation. Probably the last time I was on, we were talking about any day now it'll come. He finally dropped a preview. It hasn't even been introduced, but it was definitely a sell the news type of event, apparently. And I think people were concerned about some of the taxation issues. But I guess my takeaway is this stuff's not happening anytime soon. And investors should be focused on the solid fundamentals of the status quo. It's fantastic right now.
Yeah. How long ago was that Schumer press conference? It was like a month ago or more, right? It was July 14th. It was July 14th where that was their cannabis legalization bill, and crickets since then.
Yeah, well, so there's a commentary period right now, or comment period, and then they're going to make some revisions. I think people really don't understand why Schumer is trying to do this all-encompassing package. The Democrats don't really have control of the Senate, for much longer necessarily, and they don't really have an edge right now. It takes 60 senators to pass something. There's some Democrats that don't want to move forward. There's some Republicans that do, but there's some low-hanging fruit that they're not going after. Instead focusing on this all-encompassing complex bill. So I don't know.
Yeah. All right. So you mentioned how we all got excited in November and January with hey,
especially in January.
Democrats, they've got the White House, they've got the both houses of Congress. Yeah, this is definitely going through. Fast forward 6, 7, 8 months, nothing's really happened. Where do things go from aside from federal legalization? Is there any other catalyst? Because, like you said, a lot of these stocks here, they're stuck in at best consolidation phases. At best, a lot of them are frankly are in downtrend. So, is there any other catalyst here for the space?
Absolutely none, except for all the states legalizing the continued conversion of the illicit market to the legal market. M&A, strategic entries, but no, not much besides that. It's kind of dull otherwise.
Man, you're not making me feel excited, and I've got a bunch of these guys in my portfolio. So, all right.
No, I'm being sarcastic.
He's being sarcastic.
Yes,
Spencer didn't catch
time.
it.
Really?
Maybe
I caught the sarcasm.
Oh no, I did not. That went right over my head.
Yes, it's unbelievable what is going on. You have companies that are on $1 billion plus annualized run rates for next year, generating some of them actually net income despite these high interest rates that they pay on small amount of debt, but more importantly, the high tax rate. So I apologize for the early sarcasm.
No, I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed for not picking up on that sarcasm. Jeez,
Alan, isn't the problem just that these stocks just got way ahead of themselves, and the fundamentals are still good here, and for a lot of these companies, but the stock prices just got way ahead of themselves, and that's why the stocks have been depressed to a certain extent. It's not totally following the fundamental story here because the prices just got way ahead of themselves. So there was a gap to fill, and that gap, as the fundamentals come up and the prices come down, eventually it finds some happy, parity where there's actually some value in these companies.
I think what you're saying is partially correct. I think you need to step back a little bit and first of all, realize that cannabis companies are very different from one another. You have the global Canadian LPs, the large ones that have global aspirations. You have small Canadian LPs. You have U.S. cannabis operators. You have ancillary companies. And I think investors have always treated these as if they're fungible, and they're really not. I mean, the large global Canadian companies have really one thing going for them. They're higher exchange listings in the U.S.
Yep.
that enable them to do things like Hexo just did, raise 140 million. They crushed their stock. But then you have other companies in the United States. You know, we've seen that at New Cannabis Ventures, we introduced a new index this year at the end of March, the ancillary index. And we did this because we knew Weed Maps was going public. We'd seen a whole bunch of other companies. And these companies really resonate with traders. They have good fundamentals. They don't pay that 280E tax. They're not limited by each state. You know, they scale. So that part of the market's actually been pretty good. It depends on which stock you're looking at, but we've seen a few huge breakouts, like Urban Grow just broke out this week, UGRO, NASDAQ name, Agrify, AGFY. Maybe we even talked about that in June. That one, you know, just took off. So there's different parts of the market, but to your point, Dennis, I think there's more to it than the U.S. cannabis stocks got ahead of themselves. I think there's a fundamental problem, and it's been repriced back in, which is it's so hard for institutional investors and a lot of retail and traders to get involved in the OTC listed, CSE listed American companies. So they're really some of the best deals out there, but there's this kind of fundamental technical issue that they don't trade on the right exchanges for many investors. So I think a secondary piece to that is we had seen early in the year some stock sales for growth capital, and they were funded by institutions, and all the multi-state operators of the American cannabis companies were talking about how institutional investors were buying their new issue. And this makes sense because they're not liquid enough for institutions to really buy on the open market. And so we haven't really seen more of that type of news. And in fact, there was a step back. Wasatch was a big investor in the space, and they had investments. Right now, they just have one investment in an Israeli company. They walked back. They sold all of their American cannabis positions. And there were two schools of thought as to why. It doesn't really matter. They sold them. That's the important thing. But the two suggestions were, number one, that their compliance department changed their mind and they weren't comfortable anymore and they forced them to sell. And then the other one was they have a large Mormon constituency. And, you know, the Mormons, it's on the record, were kind of mixed on cannabis in Arizona. There's a large Mormon population there. And there's definitely in that community, that's a big part. Wasatch is based in Utah, and it's a big part of their base, apparently. I don't know if it's true or not, but I've heard it suggested that there was some pressure to liquidate those positions. Whatever the reason was, that's one institution that was really in the forefront of taking, you know, large positions in some of these companies. They actually sold them. We haven't seen any other sales, but I just wonder, you know, that's really the key, getting the institutions. They love the growth. They love the valuation. They don't like the fact that they trade on the OTC and other issues like that.
Alan, can you explain what exactly is going on with the Tilray MedMen thing?
Sure.
What is going on there?
Yeah, well, a lot of financial media misreporting is one thing you got to keep in mind.
Okay.
So step back just for one moment. Tilray Aphria, that merger, they have enslaved themselves to the meme crowd, and they had a hard time. Tilray, prior Tilray, I mean, the surviving company is really Aphria, but Tilray, they couldn't get their shareholders to approve the merger, and they had to change the rules, and they were able to get it through. Now, new Tilray, which is really Aphria, has failed twice to get their share count boosted. And this is unbelievable to me, because you have this company with global aspirations and they're locked in. I don't know how they're going to resolve this. And so they've been spending a lot of time and money to get the day traders that don't even own their shares anymore to vote. It's a tough situation. So I think there's a few things to say about the MedMen transaction. Number one, I think a little bit of it is to get people to vote for their merger or something. I don't know. it's a pretty expensive deal, and I didn't think it made a ton of sense. Medmen is a middle of the road operator. They've had a lot of financial trouble because of the rising tide. I think that they're off of death watch. But what Tilray has done here is they've bought convertible debt, which is the only way they could get in. It's only for 20% of the company if everything is all converted out. And that company did just raise 100 million, so they're not going to go out of business tomorrow. But what I really don't like about the deal, there's no. See, I would have thought I kind of expected that Tilray was going to do something like this, but I would have thought the deal that they struck would have gotten their brands into the California market today. There was no talk of that. It was, to me, very disappointing. So they're on the line for a certain dollar value that translates to, I believe, 9 million shares. But they may not be able to issue the shares because of this problem with the authorized share count. So they may have to pay cash. And, they have a lot of debt. They have cash, but cash is scarce. And, to put that kind of money into something that may not even pan out for a long time, I think is questionable.
Alan, where do you classify? Are they growth stocks? Obviously, they grow. I mean, we talk about reopening stocks. We talk about stay-at-home stocks. I mean, they kind of just got their own category, and we definitely have a new paradigm here. I mean, where does it fall into? Is it?
Yeah, that's a great question. I try to track different things. Like sometimes it goes in sync with Bitcoin, and that's all those speculative juices that flow there. And sometimes it goes the opposite. Sometimes, we've had a lot of volatility in small cap, and a lot of times the negative impact on small caps in general, risk off maybe, hurts the cannabis sector. But when I step back and think about what it really is, it's a secular growth story, and it's growth at a reasonable price. And I guess to your other part, it's kind of the stay-at-home story as well. And so I've been a little bit surprised. The fundamentals have been strong, and as the Delta variant has kicked in, we saw last year that the cannabis stocks were very favorably impacted by the pandemic for a lot of reasons. And that doesn't seem to be the way. Nobody thinks about that anymore, but I think there's truth to that. If we're going to stay with a lot more people working home, with making it hard to spend your money on other things, cannabis is probably, and people being worried, then that's probably positive for cannabis consumption at any rate.
Alan Brochstein, guys, is one of, if not the best analyst in the space. Is 420 investor. New Cannabis Ventures is his website, where they're always doing good analysis, reporting and analysis on what is happening in the space. Alan, we always appreciate your time. Let me make sure there was like no other big questions that I missed. Oh wait, can I ask you about GrowGen real fast?
Sure.
What do you make of this one? I thought this was gonna. I thought the price action in GrowGen was kind of crazy, and that was like $20 ago. So
to go back to Dennis's characterization, I think that was one that got way ahead of itself. And GrowGen's an ancillary company; it's open to everybody because it trades on the Nasdaq,
right?
And it has a big institutional following. And so I think in February the stock just got way ahead of itself. And it's a roll up, and roll ups have some risk and inherent to them.
Do you think like this is a potential M&A target? I'm not asking you to like predict anything, but like,
I don't think in the short term. I mean, you can imagine a company like Home Depot or Lowe's maybe buying them in the future or something like that, but I don't think that's going to happen anytime soon.
Okay.
But I think there was some negative, there was that short story that came out a year ago, and it crushed the stock briefly, and then it took off. And I think the negative recently was there was a lot of insider selling, and there's been insider selling before, but this was a lot. And one thing that really caught my attention was the relatively new chief operating officer sold basically everything. and he's only been there a short time. It was, to me, pretty stunning. His name's Tony Sullivan. So that left me scratching my head a little. I think they have a great franchise and a bright outlook. They should have raised their guidance. They've done a lot of acquisitions, and they didn't raise their guidance, and I think that spooked people. And they were very cautious. They're being hurt, like a lot of companies, by they have some new builds going on right now, and just the delays in construction are hurting them. So I think the stock's reset from a technical standpoint. $30 is kind of key. When it broke it, the red lights were flashing. $30 is where they did that massive secondary offering in December. With some support then. And so, I've been using Fibonacci retracements on this, and about 2750, 2740 is the 62% retracement. So I kind of have my eye on that. I think the stock should do well over time. It's just a question of, if you buy it today at 31 or 32, and then it drops to 27, you get stopped out. That's not a great way to play it. So I have that one on close watch right now.
All right. Alan Brochstein, always a pleasure, man. Guys, his Twitter is at 420invest. And invest 420.
At invest 420.
Invest 420. Invest 420. Alan Brochstein, thanks a lot, man.
Great to be here.
Thank you.
Alan.
Let's talk dollar stores for a second.
Yeah, real quick. We just got bullered a little bit.
Yeah,
we were at unchanged, and Bullard came in and started yapping, and that was we came off the close. So that close is gonna
He
be.
Didn't say transitory.
I don't know what he said.
He's talking about inflation. What else?
Yeah, and so just the fact that we made that high just above the close earlier in the session. The close, old time closing high 44.93 was the close, 94.25 the high. We just ran up there again. I think that's especially with everything that's going on tomorrow. I think it's going to be a real good level today. I think a lot of people like to see it. I don't see us blowing through the close, taking out 43.98, climbing into 4,500, but just the way the market feels right now, just the way we repelled off that old time closing high.
Let's go talk the real market IWM, because this has had a significant move here in the last 4 days. You won't see it in SPY because SPY is muted because of obviously the big four and all of the other stuff that's in there. But if you look at IWM, we have rebounded the entire 6 days of losses.
Yeah,
we basically got back in 4 days. If you're coming in, and I had multiple people saying, oh, this IWM's looking good now. Wholly doing it backwards. Wholly doing it backwards. Because we literally, everybody hated it 4 days ago when we got in the gutter, and now everybody loves it, as we've had, a 3-4% rally here in the last week. And you're coming in a massive resistance at 225. You're 222, you're not quite there. There's a room up to 225. Well, we tried to get there yesterday, 223.96. So I'd say yesterday's high would be a bogey for me too. But I look here and think, what can I lighten up in small caps? What has run? What has come back? Because if you're coming in and buying them now, I think you're doing it backwards.
I just want to look at this on a Fibonacci retracement. I mean, you had that big bar in March, huge bar when it topped out. That was about a 27-point range, 13.5 of that. That would take you to the 220 area. So you are hanging above mid-range here. But since you had that big bar in March, you haven't seen the high nor the low. So I agree with Dennis. First things first, let's get through that 225. And then I think even if you do, I still see multiple highs at like 226.5, 227. So show me you can get through there. Just been bouncing around since that big range in March.
Can we talk dollar stores for a second?
Sure.
Dollar Tree and DG DLT.
Burlington too. You might as well throw Burlington in there. It's like a dollar store. Cheap stuff.
Okay. Well, they're all
in.
All right. They're all trading down this morning, and they all had earnings. Dollar General, their sales growth, they said it would slow. Dollar Tree, their guidance came in noticeably below estimates. I'll give you the Dollar Tree guidance.
Dollar Tree always miss. Doesn't it feel like DLTR always misses? Apparently back in May they missed, because look at the chart from the last earnings report. I feel like it's Groundhog Day. I feel like 3 out of 4 times Dollar Tree misses and tanks on it.
Let's see. Dollar, you said
I feel like it. Maybe it's selective perception.
It could be a bit selective perception here. they don't always miss.
Well, nothing's 100% of the time. So I say it always misses if it's 60% of the time. It feels like it always misses. That's an edge.
Here. They got some beats and misses. It's sprinkled throughout. What about DG?
DG always seems like you do better than Dollar Tree.
Anyway, I want to give you what the Dollar Tree guidance was this morning.
Right.
And the Dollar Tree guidance was our earnings per share guidance of 88 to 98 cents versus a $1.26 estimate. And
that doesn't sound great.
Fiscal year EPS guidance in the mid $5 range. So anyway, light guidance for Tree and slowing sales growth for DG.
Yeah. Remember, and people look, oh, it's beat and it's beat. Why isn't it up? Guidance trumps all. Write this down. Guidance greater than current earnings. Write that down. That holds always. If you blow it away and you lower your guidance, the stock is likely going down. So people care about not what you did, what you're going to do. And if you're telling me that your earnings are not going to be as good next quarter, in all likelihood, you're going to go down. So when you just jump on your news algos, jump on those initial numbers, and then the next, headline, it breaks that, oh yeah, but we're lowering guidance. There's usually an opportunity to turn around and hit the stock. So guidance trumps all. Just remember that.
Boy, I'll just give you some levels here. This lower 100, where you're sitting right now, that's going to be where the bulls need to make a stand. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lows in the lower one, between 100 and 101. You're just sitting there. So better hold 100. If not, you have a quick trip to 98. I think 98 to 100 to me looks like support today. No pop on it so far. Did pop over 112. Street leaning the wrong way into the report. So a lot of people stuck on this one. Didn't sell going into the report. Dollar General at the lows of the session. I don't see anything. And you're already below 225. I see a couple lows at the 220 area if you're looking for support. And then what was the other one? Burlington just seems to have these little missteps and then comes back and makes a new all-time high. We have a pre-market low. This is kind of a thin one. Probably not good levels here. Pre-market low 321. So see if we back and fill in that area. The bottom of yesterday's range, way up there. I don't know if you'll see a gap fill into this one today up at 343.29.
There's a couple tickers mentioned in the chat that I think are actually a little correlated to each other, Affirm and Coinbase. So let's look at both of them, and I just pulled them both up here. I mean, they look pretty good. Not entirely, but if one goes up, the other goes up. They tend to move together.
Which ones?
Affirm, AFRM, and Coinbase.
I don't know if there's any relationship there, but the Affirm is, people have been saying it's a target for a takeout here. Obviously, since Square bought, what did Square buy?
It was some Australian company.
Yeah, and then they put Affirm on the radar, and Affirm had a big pop that day, but it pulled back. I mean, so I kind of like the Affirm. It's breaking out. I like the story here. It's hard to just chase it though when it was $63 4 days ago. Now it's 73. So okay, name of the game is not buy the rip, it's buy the dip. The time to buy Affirm was like Monday. Or even last week, because it gave you 4 or 5 days of consolidation, 65. Once it went up through 65, it hasn't looked back. So I like the stock, I like the company. I need to pull back now.
Big 4-day run, 5-day run. Use that close 72.51 up to the high from yesterday, which was 73.60. So just a couple targets on the upside. But that's it, folks. 8:59. I'm going to hop off. I got a lot of issues to cover on PreMarket Prep Plus. Go to premarketprep.com for that. And Spencer, I'll check in with you later on.
So it was Afterpay is what Square had bought. Yeah. And that's when Affirm, everybody put that in. And Affirm had a big pop that day that Square bought Afterpay because whoa, this Affirm could get bought too.
Yeah.
It might. I think it's still a potential target.
Yeah, well, that was the thinking, right? So, hey, we didn't mention Zoom this morning, and I wanted it real fast because Zoom is catching an upgrade.
Oh, nice.
And it's a Morgan. I think it was Morgan Stanley. They had the upgrade. Let's check with the Pro.
Cool.
It was upgrade Zoom to overweight, giving it a price target of $400. When was the last upgrade to Zoom? I think it's been a hot second. This is one of my favorite things to do.
Long time.
Go to the calendar, sort by date, ratings. Oh, actually, we had one at the end of July that I had forgotten from KeyBank. But prior to that, we had one in June. We had one in March. Yeah, it had been a little bit. Anyway, so Zoom trading higher this morning, off an upgrade from Morgan Stanley. Speaking of Zoom and stay-at-home stock, somebody just asked how are Peloton's earnings? Well, we don't know yet.
Tonight.
They're out tonight after the close, but Peloton's also getting a rating this morning. We talk about how analysts sometimes will come out before the report. This morning we have, I think it's Needham. Did I see that? Let's find out. Needham. Yes, Needham maintaining their buy, raising their price target on Peloton to 135 ahead of the report. You like to see it.
Gutsy. You usually don't see the analysts coming ahead of the report, but they're gutsy. They're making a call. They're making a good call. They're making a call. We don't know if it's good or not yet. I mean, Zoom's oversold. It was oversold in the short term. Gets a little bit of a pop. Valuation's still insane. It won't go in my long-term portfolio. Is there a trade there? It's up $11. So obviously, somebody made some money from yesterday that caught it ahead of the upgrade. But I don't know. I mean, Zoom's going to be dependent on where Delta's going to. If we start to continue to see Delta rise, stay at home might start to pick up more steam, and then obviously you look at the Zooms and the Pelotons. So it's a stay-at-home stock.
All right, Dennis. Well, that'll be a wrap for you, I guess, today. Good luck, and
we'll do our best.
Do your best. Don't.
That's all you can do. That's all you can do.
Don't not do your best. Just do your best.
Yeah. That's all you can do. Do your best.
Do your best. All right. I'm gonna wrap it up in a second, guys. Just we'll bring up my movers tool for a second and just walk through the biggest gainers and losers of the morning here. Anything we didn't cover. We never cover some of these smaller ones, right? Like every day there's these crazy movers. What is that PTNM? What is that? Portland Ridge Finance? What? It's up 800%. What? What is that? That looks like a reverse split or something. That's not real. Yeah, a couple crazy movers. We mentioned Ride. Oh, we didn't mention YY. Joy. This is probably your best case scenario here for some of these smaller Chinese names. There's a report that the largest shareholders of Joy are going to take it private at a range of $75 to $100 per share. That's the offer that's being reported. The range is being reported. So YY is trading higher this morning on that headline. Remember, we got a similar headline in Weibo a month ago? Yeah, remember it was that gap right there. That was early July, month and a half ago. Yeah, we got that pop on the report that Weibo was getting taken private, and nothing ever happened with that, right? So again, YY is your mover this morning in China. Again, this is probably if you're in these smaller names, like obviously this doesn't apply to JD, Baidu, Baba, your big guns, but your smaller ones like YY, Weibo, Huya, this may be like your only way out, your only path higher is some sort of takeover. So that's why YY is moving this morning. Let me just make sure there's nothing from the chat that I missed. Everyone, be nice to each other, please. You guys. Anyway, be nice and do your best. Those are the themes of the day. All right, here's what's going to happen. I'm going to end the stream, and we're going to do some live trading at the open. Myself, Mitch, Ryan, Zunaid. And let me just do some a few housekeeping items before I move on and end the stream. A reminder, everyone, that our next event is actually next week. I'll tell you all about it right now. Go to benzingaevents.com. I share my screen so you see what I'm looking at. Bada bing, bada boom. The Benzinga Crypto Festival. Yes, Tuesday and Wednesday, all day, 9 to 5, right after this show ends on Tuesday and Wednesday. Crypto all day. Anthony Pompliano, Tim Draper, BitBoy, among the speakers presenting at our conference or speaking at our conference over the course of the 2 days. All day event. Register right there. Oh wait, you guys aren't. Shoot. Hold on. Sorry about that. That's what I meant to show you right there. There we go. Pomp, Draper, BitBoy, BenzingaEvents.com. Register. There's the button right there. 2-day event. It'll be right here on our stream as well. Next Tuesday and Wednesday. Also, our first in-person event is actually not far off. It's in October. The next Benzinga Cannabis Capital Conference. Same site, BenzingaEvents.com, to learn more about that. It's all the way down there. All right, that'll be a wrap for me here today. Please remember, all the information from our show is meant to be used as informational purposes and not for investing or trading advice. Thanks to our guest, Alan Brochstein. Hey, everyone, if you haven't gotten a free trial of Benzinga Pro, you can do it. You can do it for free for 2 weeks. pro.benzinga.com. And if you want a discount on your Pro, enter the code YouTube20 to get 20% off any Benzinga Pro subscription. Haven't mentioned this for a while, but if you have your own group, your own room, Discord, whatever, you want to become an affiliate, you will get paid and earn 30% commission on every new subscription or every new subscriber you send our way. The link to do that is on the screen right now, benzinga.partnerstack.com, to become a Benzinga Pro affiliate. And that is a wrap for me here. The stream will end. It will redirect you to live training, which will be starting, I don't know, a couple of minutes. And we'll hang out with you all through the open. And we'll see how it goes. So everyone, have a good rest of your day. One more. Hold on a second. Let me catch up on the chat. Do we get options and the live trading with the order? So there are, that's a great question, Red Rum. There are different subscriptions that you can get with there's like different tiers, right? So not every tier will get you the Nick Shaheen's options package, right? You have to, it's a pay scale. You can pay for less, you can pay less and get less, pay more and get more. But the offer applies across the board. The YouTube 20, that applies across the board. The free 2-week trial applies. Richard Judd says Benzinga Pro will save your trading life. That is high praise and dramatic. I'm not going to say you'll die if you don't get Benzinga Pro, but I'm also not going to say that it won't save your life. Right? Okay. Anyway, let's wrap it up. I'm done. Live training with Benzinga Pro. Myself, Ryan, Mitch, Zunaid, starting in a couple minutes. We're going to end and redirect to that stream. Everyone, good luck, and I'll see you over on the next one.